What do you think about the way he handled that, Troy? Obviously, you're talking about the challenges of how many games as well he's had to endure in such a short amount of time.
I think, to be fair, you have to say he's handled that the best he can. I don't think he's ever going to say the wrong thing. As a coach, you understand what he's talking to and the ideas and the lack of training time. If I was a Chelsea fan, I don't want to hear that. It's pretty... You're giving me a lot of generic, vanilla comments. Like, you're telling me that it hurts, but I can't see any pain in you that actually hurt you losing that game. I didn't see anything in the game that suggested that they wanted to go and win. It was all about stopping Arsenal. And again, when you're talking to me about set-piece coaches, I don't want to hear about it. We've just lost. We're out of the semi-final. We're talking about the set-piece coach watches the other team, and so we thought we'd stick 3 up. I'm not interested.
But he was asked a question, he answered it. His set-piece coach came up with the plan to be brave, and he backed up by saying you have to be brave when you play against Arsenal. I know what you're saying.
I know
what you're saying, because we grew up in similar generations. The game has moved on. This is the reality of what happens in football. Set-piece coaches play a part, whether people like it or not. And for the modern fans and new fans, they make it like it's a new wow thing. I think it was...
Genuine question, though. Could I ask you a question? Do you think they were brave tonight?
No,
as a whole?
Not brave enough, no.
Not
brave enough. No, that's only from that set piece, though. That's the one set piece segment.
He said brave 3 times in that interview.
Okay.
So I'm saying, as a fan, if we were put yourself as a Chelsea fan, what do you take away from that was brave tonight?
You're probably disappointed. You probably said the last 15 minutes they tried to make a go of it. Was it too late? Probably, in my opinion. I think when you look at the team selection, we're talking about the tactical element of the game today, what we saw. We saw a Chelsea lineup at the start that, for me, was a defensive-minded lineup where we thought it was going to be attacking, but it was really more defensive, damage control, and let's see how long we can stay in the game to. Then when you bring on the likes of a Cole Palmer and an Estevao, that's when you're trying to say, OK, now you're trying to free up and bring this game forward. And when you look at it again, you look at the starting lineup, we saw Delap, who we thought would be a target man, who most of the time ended up as a right midfielder. Gusto would go back into kind of like a back 4 row, and then they will just basically damage control.
I think Estevao obviously is the one asterisk, because we know that he was in Brazil. So him coming back, it was great to see him even on the bench. Are you frustrated, though, that we don't see some of these players starting? Because this isn't the first time that we've had to see attacking changes under Mourinho.
No, my frustration is when we talk about being brave, and there's a very thin line between being brave and being stupid, right? So if they tried to go out and score 5 against Arsenal and lose 3-0, we'd all be saying he doesn't know what he's doing. So it's a very thin line. But I don't remember a chance that they should score. I don't remember a good save from the goalkeeper. I don't remember a moment where we thought, oh, Chelsea are dominating here. So when you use the term brave, to me, that's what I want to remember something. Go, oh, that's what he's alluded to. It felt to me, instead of going there and testing themselves against Arsenal, like they did in the first leg, where it's like, right, we're going to see where we're at. And we know Arsenal are one of the best teams in world football currently. How far off it are we? They went, can we stop them? And we're going to see Burnley do that. We're going to see other teams try and go to the Emirates, sit low block and go, can we contain for as long as possible? And they did it longer than a mid-level team, like an Everton did. That was, if Everton played that performance today, we'd be saying that's a David Moyes type performance.
That's the gamble you take as a manager, and I'm not defending Liam, but that's he chose that path. He wanted to go damage control and then try and bring on the flair players later on in the game to maybe try and win something. For me, he could have gone the opposite way, where he could have started them and say, look, we're coming here to win. We're coming
when it doesn't work, we have to give... at the start of the show, we was giving the credit for the subs he brought on, the goals that they've scored. And we said, like, OK, on the flip side, if you don't win now with that talent on the bench and you don't have a real chance on goal, you don't have a sustained period, the same level of credit we do, we now have to look at it from a critique.
Criticism, you're going to get criticised.
OK, well, what was the game plan to survive? This is Chelsea Football Club. You're meant to be a big team. You talk about you're the world champions to everyone. You've won 2 trophies in the last year as opposed to Arsenal. And you went there and all you wanted to do was survive. That, to me, isn't a step forward. That's a step backwards.
I thought for 60 minutes they were very good in the tactical, and they could have been more dangerous. But then it's hard because he figured, okay, in the 60th we stay in the game as long as possible. In the 60th minute we flip the switch. We start to put some pressure on them, but they struggled to sustain any sort of pressure. And then the last 15 minutes you really want to see them take risks, and they didn't take them. And you also really want to see them on the same page, which in that moment when Arsenal is so deep and so compact, For me, the ball's just got to go wide in the box, wide in the box, wide in the box. Sustain pressure, pick up the second ball, wide box, flash balls across the box, corner kicks, set pieces, up the tempo a little bit. I felt that part was missing from the game, and I think that's where these boys are feeling like.
But again,
it was not a good feeling at the end of the game because they didn't really ask that many questions.
I agree with that.
But that's credit to Arsenal too. Arsenal kept them far from the goal, you know.
It didn't feel like they were running out of time. It felt like even if there was 10 minutes added on,
we could play for 10 more days.
We could have still been in the same situation.
It plays to the part of what Liam said about not having enough time to coach and train your players, because that plays a part. You've been a manager, you know it, that when you get to get on the pitch, when you get to be on the pitch to view your players, to get them to understand what you want, your style of system, you need time on the pitch. And then from Arsenal's perspective, I would have to say Arsenal never looked like they were going to concede a goal. They never looked like they were vulnerable.
Flip that on its head then. It's the first time this season they played three at the back. How did he coach them? How did they do that for 60 minutes?
Oh, we saw them coaching in a warm-up.
So, again, we didn't have enough coaching time because we didn't win the game, but we had enough coaching time to do tactically a decent job. So do you see how the narrative changes? If they win that game, everyone say what a tactical masterclass it is, and we're not hearing anything about lack of time on the training pitch. As soon as you lose, it's like a go-to answer, and this is the bit I get frustrated with. Stop lying to us. Like, you've played three at the back for the first time this season. Congratulations. Yes, you haven't had enough time to go through every single detail that you want to, but you still had enough time to get that message into the players, and they stood on their business for, what, 70 minutes? They did a good job.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, we didn't have enough time on the pitch.
I would like to know what the actual rules are as a manager of what you have to give to the media and what you don't have to give to the media in terms of time, I'd never speak to him. I would never speak to the media because nothing you say is going to come off good after the end of a loss. So, he has struggled. Nigel makes the point. 8 games in a short amount of time, hasn't had time to train. That's the reality of the situation. But when you say it after a loss, after you've just been knocked out of the semifinal, nobody cares. And in fact, it kind of makes you like you're making excuses, whether it's a valid excuse or not. So, at the end of the game, if I was ever a manager, I would give nothing. I would give Bill Belichick style responses. One word, see you later, get me out of here. Because Chelsea fans don't want to hear. The more you try to talk and the more you try to...
But Troy, you just said that you wanted to see more emotion.
Yeah, but
now he wants nothing.
I agree with what he's saying. Because he's
saying
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. One thing we've just said, we just spoke to Declan Rice. What's the first thing everyone said? He's a nice person, because when you see whether they win, they lose or draw, he gives you his authentic self. What I'm saying is, when you give me the coaching speech, I know that's not how you're really feeling. And that's not just to Liam, that's to 90% of managers and 95% of players now. We just saw the Victor Gyökeres interview. I'll put that on later to go to sleep, because he ain't going to give us anything. They're giving us the same boring stuff, but we see it. I wanted to ask you a question. You know, when you've been in these teams, right, and we've all been there, you have a defensive setup and a defensive mind, and then the manager goes, switch.
Hard to get out of it.
You have a backward step, and all you're thinking about is don't let them score, don't let them score. Now he goes, 20 minutes, try and score. It's so hard mentally to flip that switch and to take it on. And I just think that's where the game plan really suffered for Liam and for Chelsea in that second half, was trying to get these people now...
From being defensive,
From going defensive-minded to going inside.
But wouldn't the mentality of a knockout match affect how you feel in that way? Because maybe in the Premier League you would struggle to adjust because you think, OK, even a point would be, better than losing. But to open up in a match like this would be
because you've got to win this.
Right.
So if they lost 1-0 like they did in the 90th minute, or they lost 17-0, they still lost.
Right.
If you're going to go out swinging.
Yeah.
I think that's what football fans would want. If you're going to go out, go there, make an attempt to play front foot football, be aggressive, try and win. They can say, you know what, we tried to win, we're chasing the game, end of. But when you do that, you leave yourself open.
Liam, I can tell by the devastation of your players and all they gave and your face how disappointed you are to go out and not make the Wembley final. What's your assessment of the performance there tonight? Because such a difference from the first leg.
Yeah, a huge difference. Not in terms of the result, disappointedly, but in terms of the players' application, their intensity, their fight to run for each other, to win duels, to defend set plays, to attack set plays. A lot of very, very pleasing aspects to our performance, but it's still very difficult to speak about the positives when you can't leave, because the players and myself really believe we could have done something special. In time, we will analyse where we've started and where we've got to now, and I think we can be quite happy with that. But we're here to win things, and we have to respond on Saturday in a good way.
The back five really seemed to stifle Arsenal, certainly did, right till the last moment. So much to like about what you did, the set piece, taking players back away, and that really did upset Arsenal. Major area in front of goal, less crowded. Cucurella putting bodies on lines. Sanchez, brilliant in defence. But did it just stifle your creativity?
Yeah, I think also we missed Pedro Neto, we missed Reece James. Cole was extremely fatigued after playing 90 minutes against West Ham. We have a game every 3 days. Esteval, bless him. He's had a real difficult week. He's flown to Brazil and back to be here with the team. All credit to him. So there were underlying things in terms of that, but we still have and control in the second half. We made it a really, really difficult night for Arsenal, but we wanted to make it for them with the result as well.
And of course, coming back from the first leg when you had a lot of players out with sickness and injury as well. Sure. Massive credit for Esteval in that situation. What a strong young man he is. Looking ahead, it's 5 wins in between the 2 matches against Arsenal. A massive match against Wolves now for you. In terms of players coming back, Neto, James, any update on them?
No, I'll find out tomorrow. They're away. They're not serious injuries. We've also lost Jamie Gittins on Saturday. And it's normal with the game schedule that we've got. What these players are turning out for me in terms of their energy, in terms of their fitness and their work ethic is top. Tonight didn't go away, but we need to make sure on Saturday it does.
How proud are you of how quickly your team are responding and taking on your ideas with the limited time in the training ground? Yeah,
so proud of them. Obviously, we want to win, but I think in terms of the first game, in comparison to the second game, in terms of the way we game tactically and what we wanted out of the game, there are a lot of positive signs.
I think so. I think they'll be looking at this now, in either team, Newcastle or Man City, they'll go, we're better than them, we're in a better foundation than them. The pressure will continuously be on Arsenal, and this unfortunately won't change now until they win things, is can they get over the line? I believe that this is the team now that will do that, because you have to. How do you beat this Arsenal team? You can't go there tactically against them because they can roll their sleeves up and say, no problem. You have to stop every set piece. And on a day, you could get Saka, Madueke. They have individuals that can score as well. So it's a very good team. Today was all about getting the job done. But just to go to the guys' points, I thought today was about a team that believed they could win, no matter which way the game went in Arsenal, and a team in Chelsea that hoped everything went well, then they can win. Because there was no plan B. There was no option of going wide, putting in the box, as you guys alluded to. But also there was no real pattern of play how to score. It was how we're going to stop Arsenal, not how we're going to take the game to them. And you have to stay in the game, and then maybe Liam, on reflection, will say, maybe we could have done more for that last half an hour.
Maybe could have been aggressive a bit more earlier as well. When you think, I think you got the first 45 out of the way. We've seen him make changes at half-time. Maybe it's an opportunity to make changes at half-time to start that second half a lot more aggressive. But from Arsenal's perspective, I think it's great. They've got to the final. When you look at everything again, the bigger picture, and we talk about the mental side of football and how it might play out, are Arsenal good enough to win this competition? Yes. It's a final that anything can happen. If they don't win the final, whoever they may face, whether Manchester City and Newcastle, then that's going to be a whole new story and a new chapter now in how the rest of the season plays out of everything else. So they're in a great position right now in the driving seat.